Hello friends, this is Dhanmal here for Technique, and in this quick video we're going to compare two budget smartphones, the Meizu M2 with the Lenovo P1m. So these two phones were released last month, and the Meizu M2 comes for 6,999 while the Lenovo P1m comes for 7,999. But there are difference in these two devices in terms of the specs. There are lots of similarities as well. So let's quickly get to the specs. So the Meizu M2 comes with a 5-inch HD display. It's powered by a quad-core MediaTek chipset which is clocked at 1.3 GHz. It has 2 GB RAM, 16 GB internal storage. It has a 13 megapixel rear camera, front-facing 5 megapixel camera, and a 2500 mAh battery. It is powered by Android 5.1 Lollipop along with the Flame UI. So that was the spec aspect of the Meizu M2. Now coming to the Lenovo P1m. So this phone again comes with a 5-inch HD display. It's powered by a MediaTek quad-core chipset clocked at 1 GHz. There is 2 GB RAM and 16 GB internal storage. It is again powered by Android 5.1 now. Lollipop with the Vibe UI, and this has 4000 mAh battery. So that was the spec aspect of these two phones. Now let's go into the detailed aspects. Let's first have a look at this design and build quality. So design wise, both these devices are fairly good looking devices. You can see the matte finish in the rear panel. There aren't any similarities in terms of design. You can see the Meizu M2 is a fairly good looking device. You can see the curved edges, and the rear panel looks really classy in terms of the finish and build quality. So you can see it's a unibody design, polycarbonate materials, the power and volume key. You can see the hybrid SIM card slot. This is dual SIM card, but it's a hybrid SIM card. So you have to use the second SIM card as a micro SD card slot. You can see the speaker located at the bottom, the 3.5mm audio jack, microphone, and the home button which also integrates as the back button. And on the front panel you have the 5-inch HD display. Now talking about the design language of the Lenovo P1m, it is again a fairly good looking device, but it's not as slim and lightweight as the Meizu M2. It's a lot thicker. You can see the chrome finishing around the sides of the device, but it's not really the metal finish. It's a plastic with a chrome finishing. The rear panel again looks pretty good. The matte finish looks pretty decent. It's not the best looking device out there, but it's a fairly decent looking device with a camera unit, the flash, the Vibe logo. You also have a dedicated power switching button which will enable the power saving mode. Then you have the power and the volume keys, the 3.5mm audio jack, and the micro USB charging slot at the bottom. So design wise, both these devices are fairly good looking device, and build quality also looks pretty good on both these devices. But because the Meizu M2 is lightweight and slimmer in nature, and the overall finishing looks slightly better than the P1m, we would give it to the Meizu M2 in terms of the design and build quality. Now talking about the display aspect, both these devices have 5-inch HD display. Both are pretty good in terms of the display quality. Both are pretty vibrant and colorful. The touch response is also pretty good. The viewing angles are again pretty decent all around. But the difference here is the drag and trail protection on the Meizu M2, while the Lenovo P1m does not offer any additional protection on the display. So it's prone to scratches unless you are using a screen protector. So that's one disadvantage. So while the display quality is almost similar on both these devices, we would give it to the Meizu M2 for the added protection available on this display. Now let's move on to the software and performance side. So software, both these devices have the Android 5.1 Lollipop with custom UI. So first let's talk about the Meizu M2. So Meizu M2 has this Android 5.1 with the custom Flame UI. You can see the Flame UI is a bit confusing at times because it does not have any resemblance to the stock Android. You can see it has this iOS style arrangement for settings. It's a bit confusing to use. It has multiple home screens, and even the notification center is a custom one. So getting used to this UI is a bit difficult task, especially if you're using the stock Android experience. But overall it's a fairly decent UI in terms of the overall performance. The multitasking is also kind of different here. We have this back button enabled home button. So if you just tap on this, it will go back, and you can use this as back button as well as the home button. So those are some aspects about this device. Now performance wise, this has this quad core chipset with 2GB RAM and 16GB internal storage. The performance was very good on this device, no lag or issues. The gaming experience was also pretty good with the quad core chipset and 2GB RAM. The call quality and other aspects were decent. The speaker volume was not that great. Now this phone comes with 4G LTE support, but the second SIM card slot is a hybrid SIM card. So if you want to expand the storage, you have to use only one SIM card. So if you are using dual SIM card, then you don't have expansion option. You have to use the 16GB internal storage. So that was the performance and software side of the Meizu M2. Now talking about the Lenovo P1m, this again comes with Android 5.1 Lollipop with this custom Vibe UI. So Vibe UI has matured over the versions, and it's still not really that great in terms of the overall looks and feel. It's not as polished as a MIUI or the Fly MIUI in terms of icons and look and feel, but it is a performing UI. In terms of the overall performance is pretty good. We have this custom notification center. You can see the quick toggles. A lot of things are included on this UI. This is a fairly decent UI in terms of the features being offered. It's not confusing like the Fly UI, but it's a straightforward UI. Only thing, certain customizations are included by Lenovo. Now talking about the performance, it's powered by a quad core chipset clocked at 1 GHz with 2GB RAM and 16GB internal storage. There is also dual SIM card with 4G LTE support, and it also has a micro SD card expansion slot. Unlike the Meizu M2, this is not a hybrid SIM card, so you can use dual SIM card as well as a micro SD card on this device. Now the performance of this device was pretty good. There was no lag or issues we faced. It was decent performance all around, and with the 2GB RAM, the gaming experience was also pretty decent. Not much of issue. The display, as we said before, was pretty good for gaming. The touch response was decent. Overall, we would say both these devices are equally good in terms of the overall performance being offered in the budget category. The only difference being the micro SD card expansion slot. We would say for that the Lenovo P1m is better because it has dual SIM card as well as micro SD card expansion slot. Now talking about the software, both are pretty much different in terms of the look and feel. If you're using Flyme OS for the first time, it's a bit confusing, but it's more polished than the Vibe UI. If you have been using Vibe UI or rather any Lenovo phones, the Vibe UI is almost similar, not much of a change. So in the overall software and performance side, we can't really choose a winner here. Both are really good devices in this category. Both perform pretty well, no lag or issues. Gaming experience is also pretty decent on both these devices. Now talking about the camera, so that's one area both these devices have a lot of differences. So the Meizu M2 has a 13 megapixel rear camera and a 5 megapixel front camera, while the Lenovo P1m has a 8 megapixel rear camera and a 5 megapixel front facing camera. Now talking about the camera interface, both these devices are fairly decent in terms of the interface being offered, but we would say for the additional features being offered on the Meizu M2, we would pick the Meizu M2 interface is more user friendly than the Lenovo P1m. But P1m does have decent options. And the another important aspect is that Meizu M2 can record videos in 1080p, that's a full HD recording, while the Lenovo P1m offers only 720p video recording. That's kind of disappointing. Now talking about the camera quality, you can see some of the samples here. You can see that the 13 megapixel camera on the Meizu M2 is a much better performer than the Lenovo P1m. So when we reviewed the P1m, we said that the camera has been improved when compared to the A7000 and the A6000, which also had the 8 megapixel camera. But we would say the Meizu M2 has an edge over the camera performance, both in terms of the video as well as the photo quality. Now the front facing camera is both a 5 megapixel, nothing to choose between these two devices. Both are pretty decent in terms of the front facing experience, but in the overall camera aspect, we would say the Meizu M2 is the winner here. Now finally, the battery aspect. So this is one area, again there's a lot of difference. The Meizu M2 has just a 2500 mAh battery. Now the Lenovo P1m has a 4000 mAh battery. So from the battery capacity itself, you can clearly say which is a better choice here. The P1m will get you more than a day of usage, almost 2 days of usage with this battery. It's a really good performing battery. Now with Meizu M2, we can get at least 1 day of usage, but more than a day would be difficult with average or moderate usage. but with Lenovo's YP1M you can be assured to get more than a day of usage easily. So that was the battery performance aspect. Now also this battery comes with fast charging option. If you're using Lenovo's charger, it also comes with fast charging option. That's an added feature. So all in all, in the battery performance, the Lenovo YP1M is a winner. Now talking about the pricing, the Meizu M2 is priced 6,999 while the Lenovo YP1M is priced 7,999. So there's an additional 1K difference between these two devices, so which is better value for money. So obviously if you're not really worried about the battery performance, the Meizu M2 is better value for money because it has a better camera, slightly better build, display is again slightly better, and it also has decent battery performance. Now if you're looking for a better battery life, if you're a frequent traveler, and if you're looking for great battery performance, the YP1M is a great choice because it does produce decent or rather great results overall in terms of the battery performance. So that's all guys with the quick comparison of the Meizu M2 with the Lenovo YP1M. So hope you like this video. If you have any questions, drop in a comment and we'll be glad to help you out with your questions. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.